Hello, welcome to the Manage AWS vSRX instance state using Python Learning Byte. I'm Gordon Mosley with the Education Services Department at Juniper Networks. Let's get started. After watching this Learning Byte, you will be able to use the Boto3 AWS Python Software Development Kit to manage vSRX instance state. Boto3 is the name of the Python Software Development Kit provided by Amazon Web Services. It enables Python to perform the same functions as the Amazon Web Services CLI or the AWS Administrator Web Portal. The Boto3 library is installed using pip, or in this example, for Python 3, pip3. You'll see a pip3 install Boto3 command is issued. Boto3 and 2 or 3 additional libraries that complete the package installation are installed. And before the Boto3 objects can be used to connect to and manage AWS resources, authentication must occur. And Boto3 uses AWS programmatic access keys during the connection and authentication process. And so you have to, before you create scripts and run them, create an AWS programmatic access key, record the access key ID and the actual key value, and store those in a file named credentials. In the example, I created a .aws directory in my home directory, and I created a file called credentials, and this is the output. This is what the credentials file contains. The region, optional, that's not required, but the access key ID and the secret access key values are required. So when I run a Python script, by default, these values will be used to authenticate. So be sure to create a credentials file similar to this example. Once the Boto3 modules have been installed, you'll be able to leverage their functionality in Python scripts. This example Python script will start a vSRX instance that's identified by an instance ID. I currently have a vSRX instance that's running in AWS, and many of the Python modules use the instance ID parameter to identify the actual EC2 instance you would like to perform operations on. And so the example imports the Boto3 module. There will be output printed to the screen, so I'm importing the pretty print module. I'm declaring an EC2 variable to be the Boto EC2 client. And so EC2 represents a connection to AWS. And one of the methods on that EC2 object is start instances. Another method, oddly enough, is stop instances. And so using those two methods, I'm able to stop or start the vSRX instances identified by the actual instance ID that you see in this script. And this is just a simple, basic example of using Python and the Boto3 AWS libraries to manage, in this example, vSRX instances. I'm going to connect to the administrator workstation and demonstrate this process now. This is the administrative workstation we'll use for the rest of this Learning Byte, and I wanted to show you the actual client methods that are available, at least some of them that are relevant to this Learning Byte. And it starts with the start and the stop instances methods. This is what we will use to stop our vSRX instance and then power it back on. If I select one of these methods to get more information, I can see the actual method name and an example script, how this method can be used to perform the desired function. So you'll see example code, you'll see parameters, acceptable values, what's required, what's optional, what type of data is returned, what format will it be in. So really good information that it helped me get started being able to create some example Python scripts with this information. This is the actual vSRX instance that we will use. It's currently in the running state, and we would like to use a Python script. Instead of clicking here and using the menu to change the instance state to stop, start, reboot, we can do that with Python without needing to use the AWS portal interface or the AWS CLI. Here are the sample scripts, and I just wanted to show you again how simple they are. And the only thing that's really changed between the two scripts that start and stop an instance is the method. And so we've imported the Boto3 module, the pretty print module as well. Here's our EC2 variable that represents an EC2 AWS connection, the client connection to AWS. And then the method for that client instance that we will invoke is either stop instances or start instances. So the scripts are identical. Here's the instance ID that references the ID of that vSRX instance that you saw inside of the AWS portal. So let's go run these scripts and see the results. Okay, here's our terminal window. And since the instance is running, let's run the stop AWS vSRX Python script first. And here's the returned output. I can see the previous state of this instance was running, and now the current state is stopping. Let's go look in the AWS admin portal. I'll refresh the output, and the instance state should be changing to, or should have changed, to stopping. So once this instance has completely stopped, we'll run the Python script to start the instance. Okay, my instance was successfully stopped. Now let's run the Python script to start it again. So the previous state for that particular instance was stopped, and now the current state is pending. Let's return to AWS portal and view the difference. Now the instance is running, and now it's still initializing, so it's not completely booted, but it is beginning the boot process. So this is an example of using simple Python scripts to manage vSRX instances in AWS. In this learning byte, we use the Boto3 AWS Python software development kit to manage vSRX instance state. Thank you very much.
Visit the Juniper Education Services website to learn more about courses. View our full range of classroom, online, and e-learning courses. Learning paths, industry segment and technology-specific training paths. Juniper Network's certification program, the ultimate demonstration of your competence. And the training community, from forums to social media. Join the discussion.